A Christmas Exchange, a Wilma and Carl story, written by Havelah McLat, illustrated by Rocco DeCaro. One evening, Wilma and Carl returned home from visiting their friends in town for Thanksgiving dinner. Wilma's face lit up when she saw a couple of envelopes on the floor and picked them up to peer through. She tossed the others in the trash and opened the one big letter. "Don't you think that mail is important too?" said Carl, peeking in the trash can. "Nah, they are junk. But this one isn't," said Wilma, showing him the envelope. "This is from my family." She unfolded the letter and read it out loud. "Dear Wilma, we hope you had a lovely Thanksgiving. We missed you very much, and we are coming over for Christmas. Your uncles, aunts, and the rest of the children are planning to come too. We'll all see you Christmas Eve. Love, Mother and Father." She paused and looked down at Carl. "Carl, this means we are hosting the entire family," she told him with a big smile. Carl shook his head, lifting his tail up. "You mean their wild children are coming here?" "Why the sudden shock?" Wilma asked him with concern. Carl chuckled nervously. "They play with me like I'm a toy." He raised his tone. "I'm not a toy!" Wilma laid her hand over her mouth and remembered the story. The kids played with him when they came over to their Christmas last year. Because of that, Carl hides somewhere whenever those kids come around. "Don't worry, my little kitty companion," Wilma said, smiling. She scooped him up into her arms. "I promise they won't do that to you." Hearing that, Carl grinned slightly. "So this means you are going Christmas shopping?" "Actually, we are doing a gift exchange," Wilma said, showing him the tiny paper. "This year, I got Mom." Later that evening, Carl watched Wilma scribbling on a long sheet of paper. He hopped onto the table, and she looked at him. "How are you going to find these things?" he asked when he looked at her long gifts list. Wilma laughed and patted his head. "These are ideas, and I have plenty of time to get something." As weeks went by and it grew closer to Christmas Eve, Wilma decorated the house and the Christmas tree, baked delicious cookies, and did other fun holiday activities. Carl jumped on the chair and gazed outside the window to keep his eyes out for the children. "Carl," Wilma said, stepping out from the other room with a tiny gift box, "I spoke with my aunts to tell their kids you aren't a toy. I appreciate that, but I won't let them touch me," Carl said, turning around and seeing she had a box in her hands. "Wilma, is that a gift for your mom?" When he said that, Wilma dropped the box and the cookie she baked spilled out. She covered her face with her hands and gasped with wide eyes. "Ah! I can't believe I forgot about that!" she said. Wilma pulled out her wand. "I can whip something up with this!" Carl jumped off the chair and walked up to her and the cookies. He raised his one brow and gave her a look. He's always skeptical about Wilma using magic. "Why can't you do something without magic?" he asked while munching on a cookie. Wilma quickly picked up the cookies and set them on the table. Then she shook her head with tears and ran to her room. Carl hurried after her. Wilma sat at the desk with her arms folded. She bowed her head and cried. Carl never saw Wilma cry. She hardly wept, but this time she was really upset. He jumped onto the desk and reached out his paw and touched her head. "Wilma, it's okay. I'm sure we will figure something out." Wilma sniffed her nose and looked up. "I know. I could use the wand," she said, letting out a sigh. Then she glanced at the small picture frame next to Carl. And then she turned to Carl. He was sitting upon her books. Suddenly, an idea came to her mind. "Carl, you are brilliant!" she said, beaming. Carl looked at her confusingly. "I am? What did I do?" Wilma didn't reply at that moment. Instead, she grabbed her craft box and began the project. On Christmas Eve, Wilma's family came over. For the rest of the evening, they ate dinner, played games, and chatted in the living room. Carl found his haven on the tall shelf and looked down at Wilma's cousins. "Children, leave poor Carl alone," said one of the aunts. "You know what? Let's open gifts," said Wilma's dad, raising his voice. "But just one gift, though. We want to save some for Christmas Day." The children ran to the Christmas tree and picked one gift. As they were opening their gifts, Wilma brought her gift to her mom. "Dear," she said sweetly, "you don't have to give me your gift now. I can wait." "Mother," Wilma said, "I want to." Her mother unwrapped the gift. Her face lit up. "Mother, this is a memory book," Wilma said. "I made it myself." She took out the book, and when she looked inside, she gasped softly. Inside the book, Wilma added pictures of when she had her first lesson flying on a broom with her mom by her side, and a picture of when she was a baby being held in her mom's arms. Her mom looked up at Wilma. She swelled in tears. "You made this?" Wilma nodded and asked, "Do you like it?" Wilma's mom lowered the book and threw her arms around Wilma. She hugged and kissed her on her forehead. "This is the most precious gift I have ever received. Thank you, dear." Those words warmed Wilma's heart. She smiled and embraced back. Carl was right. She didn't need to use her wand. Even if it wasn't whipped up by magic, her mom loved it because she made it with love. That was enough. The end. And Merry Christmas.